Cam Newton is one of the most electric and unique players ever to lace up a pair of cleats. And today we are going to recreate his offense to show off the power he brought running the ball that has never been seen from a QB before, along with his cannon arm to take deep shots all over the field to ensure the defense was never safe from the explosive plays Cam could generate all over the field. During Cam's one season at Auburn, he had one of the most dominant seasons ever, winning the Heisman Trophy and leading Auburn to their first national championship in over 50 years. Then once he was drafted, he continued to reshape the way the position was played, and it all culminated in 2015 when he had 45 touchdowns over the regular season, and the Panthers went 15-1. Cam took home the MVP, but they were finally knocked off in the Super Bowl. At his peak, Cam left the defense questioning what could they really do in order to stop him, and today we are going to recreate that in Madden 23. So the way the Panthers built their offense around Cam was much different than how most teams approach mobile quarterbacks. Instead of spreading you out, they wanted to go heavier and bigger with their sets with multiple tight ends and running backs, and they did love having a ton of pistol looks. So we will do the same thing with the two formations that we are using. They will be pistol full house base and gun wing slot weak, and this is all going to be run out of the Ravens playbook. Now this Cam scheme is all part of my ultimate QB run offense, where I recreate 6 schemes around some of the best running quarterbacks ever, and each one of their schemes will be based out of the Ravens playbook, so they are meant to be all used together. Now if you want to check out everything else that has been released for this scheme so far, I will leave a link down in the description below. Now everything the Panthers did was built off of a power downhill run game, and they really utilized 3 different players. Jonathan Stewart, a punishing physical between the tackles runner, and we will use Derrick Henry in this spot. Then at their other running back, they had D'Angelo Williams, a speed player who could hit the edge and bust it for big gains, and we were going to have Joe Mixon in this role for us. Then of course was Cam at the center of it all, with a ton of design QB runs and option plays that made this run game almost impossible to stop, and we are going to have Jalen Hurts here. Now first we have buck sweep read option in wing slot weak. First we want our 2 outside receivers to the wide side, and then we want to motion the outside player in. Now this will be the normal read option on the backside, so if the R player crashes down, you just want to pull the rock out and get to the outside and let your QB be a dangerous playmaker in space, just like Cam Newton was. Then if the R player stays on the QB, now we have the buck sweep, where we have multiple pulling O-line getting out in front of your running back, and this will allow you to get super explosive on the edge. Just be patient and really set up your blocks in order for this to work to its full potential. Next we have power read, also in wing slot weak. Now here we have our 2 receivers to the short side. Now for this play, we still want to read the R player, but it's the opposite read. So if he fires up the field, then we actually want to hand this off, and this can really pick up some humongous gains to the outside. It is super easy for the whole defense to get pinned inside, allowing you to get to the edge with your running back and be super explosive. And if the R player stays back, then you actually want to keep the ball with your QB and go up the middle. And this is where we want to have some power running between the tackles, and this is a very similar concept to what the Panthers would use to get Cam going downhill and let him make plays and be physical. Then next we have our read option play in full house base. Here, once you snap the ball, you're going to have an auto motion where your running back will leave the backfield, and this is going to be the same as some of the passes that we do have in this scheme. But really, you just want to read this like a normal read option. If the R player crashes, we want to keep it to the outside with our QB and get into space. And once again, just let him be a playmaker, and there's going to be a ton of open room to operate. The inside run, if the R icon stays back, is deadly, and it is going to get downhill super fast and really lets you recreate this physical downhill running style that the Panthers relied on a ton. Now for the play action passes, and Cam loved the play action. It was all about impacting the linebackers. This could help gain a ton of explosives down the field, and he loved to use his tight end in these spots. Greg Olsen was a perfect option here, getting in behind defenses for big plays, and I'm using Tyler Higbee in this role. First we have PA comeback flood in pistol full house base. Here you're going to have your wheel going to the short side of the field. Now the only adjustment is take the short side receiver, put him on a streak, and motion him in. So here we will have our play action fake, and we really want to pull the user and linebackers down for just half a second. Then you'll see the streak will pull back the deep blue defenders, and your wheel will get wide open down the seam for really big gains. This can be an absolute killer, and if the user doesn't read it right away, it can be a consistent big play. Next, if the user stays to the short side, then look to the dig coming over the middle, and we just want to fire this in front of the safeties. And if after the snap you see the user and the linebackers dropping way back to get under the seam and the dig, then you can just check it down to the flat and pick up some easy rack yards. Next we have PA bubble Y over and wing slot weak. Here have your two outside receivers to the short side, then take the outside player, motion him in and put him on a streak, then take the other receiver and put him on a flat route. Now after the snap we have a play action fake, and we want to check the short side flat defender. And if he bites down on the flat route and the user stays in the middle of the field, then we're just going to have this tight end crosser that will get open an absolute ton in along the sideline. But if they do have zone drop set and the flat defender gets under the crosser, then you could just go down to the flat route as a check down underneath. But we can also check the middle, so if the user stays shallow and is playing the crosser, then we have the other tight end on a post, and we just want to make sure that the safety is getting pulled back and we can drop it in right in front of him. Then we also have the running back to the opposite flat as a really good hot read if they are bringing a blitz, and you can just flip it out to him and let him make a play in space if you are getting pressure. Now if you want to unlock even more for this scheme, you need to check out my website, Scheme Kings. Up right now is part 2 of this Cam Newton offense, where I go over 7 more plays out of these 2 formations to make you even that much tougher to stop. And then there's already a ton more on the site for this mobile quarterback offense, including part 2 of my Michael Vick offensive scheme and my QB run school, and there is so much more on the way. So if you want to check out Scheme Kings, I will leave a link for it down in the description below. Now getting into our straight drop back passes, and we are starting with Raven double post in wing slot weak. Now here we want to have our 2 receivers to the short side, then motion the outside receiver in and put him on a hook. Then we want to put the other receiver on a streak, then block the inside tight end. Now here we just want to wait for this wheel to get in behind zone coverage, so you will see that the flat defender is just going to let him run by him and the deep blue defender gets pulled back by the streak, and you can just hit this wheel in behind him for huge explosive gains down the field. This is a great play if they are playing drop zone and not bringing any pressure. You can really hit them deep down the field. Then if they are bringing pressure or you are feeling the rush, we have 2 options over the middle. If the user stays shallow, you have the hook that you can just fire in for a nice gain, and if the user stays back on the hook, we have the inside whip from the tight end that is a very good check down option over the middle. Next we have Ravens post wheel in full house base. Here have the post to the wide side, then take both running backs and put them on out routes that will cross over top of each other over the middle. Then motion the receiver on the wide side of the field in, and then put the backside receiver on a slant. Now first we want to look at our 2 crossing routes over the middle, and this is a great way to get the man cover players to get caught up in traffic, and a ton of the time one of your 2 routes will just come out of the mix completely wide open underneath. But even if they don't, these routes do a really good job of separating, and these are going to give you some great options underneath. Then if those aren't there, you can look to the post over the middle, and if they have no safety back, this post does a great job of separating and has a super sharp cut that allows it to get a ton of separation over the middle. Then if none of those are open, the 4th read on this play is the wide receiver on the slant over the middle. Then we have our deep bombs. Cam had a super strong arm and loved to test the defense over the top with speed receivers on the outside. And the best one he ever had was Steve Smith. He could take the top off any defense and was a great deep threat, and I have Tyreek Hill in this scheme playing a very similar role in my offense. The play we are using is PA cross shot in pistol full house base, and this is going to work for cover 2 and cover 3. Here have the post on the wide side, then motion it in, then take the backside receiver and put him on a comeback. Then you want to block the running back on the short side and put the running back on the wide side on a streak. So first we're going to look at cover 3, and we're going to snap the ball, and we're going to have this nice play action fake that's going to help hold down the user. And as you drop back, you will see the backside cornerback is going to get held down by the comeback, and the running back on the streak will hold the safety into the middle of the field, and this post will get absolutely wide open deep down the field for a cover 3 1-play touchdown. Then against cover 2, it's going to be the exact same setup, and you will snap the ball, and you're going to have your play action fake to hold down the user, and you will see the backside comeback will hold the short side safety out, then the running back will widen the wide side safety, and our post is going to split the 2 safeties and get wide open deep down the middle of the field, giving us an easy 1-play touchdown against cover 2. Now this Cam offense is going to give you a ton of great options to attack the defense, but you are going to need more plays if you want to be as explosive as possible. So if you want to learn how to run the Michael Vick offense that will pair perfectly with this Cam Newton scheme, you need to check out this video right here.